Have you ever thought about using trading bots? I used Bitsgap in the last bull market and turned $1,000 into $50,000 within a 5-month period. I documented the whole process and put it in a playlist if you want to see that, along with other training videos and tutorials how to set bots up and make the most of the volatility of the crypto market. If you sign up with a link in the description, you'll get a 7 days free trial with no obligation to continue, and you can also use a demo account within Bitsgap so you don't have to risk your own capital. Bitsgap!
Hello everybody, welcome back. It does look and appear that we are finding, finally, some kind of confirmation of this pump across the board for altcoins being the alt season 2.0. It's not absolutely 100%, nothing ever is, but we've finally got a breakout on the candle body closure on the total 2, which is great. And if we just move our little bums over to Ethereum, it'll count, it'll do. It's not perfect, it'll do. So before we go any further, I really break down these charts a bit more, including Bitcoin as well. People, I don't know if they don't understand what's going on when I talk about charts, right? So you know that there's different time frames, right? This is going out to some of these trolls. You know, you got things from a 1 minute to an hour, 4 hourly, daily, and a weekly. I generally only look at 4 hourlies, dailies, and weeklies. That's an enormous difference in time frames. So when I'm talking about potential alt season, I'm talking about candle body closures above, for Ethereum above this level, giving us the alt season 2.0. Because remember, we've already had alt season part 1. Who told you that? I told you that. We got in there straight from the bottom, from the humble beginnings of BSV and INJ and Chainlink and all that. RNDR, the lot, the works. That was all done over here. And now what we're doing is we're calling for the continuation after the confirmation, which in this instance is going to be on a candle body closure of a daily time frame. Now, I've heard that there's a lot of people saying, well, I say a lot of people, it's always the loudest voices. There's other people going, I thought you were talking about a dump. I thought a dump was going to take place. You were talking dump. And I said, yeah, I am. That's also generated here on a weekly time frame. So obviously if I make a video every single day and I talk about the same weekly time frame signal, I'll basically say the same thing every single day. There's other things that can take place within this, you see. Weekly setups and signals or warning signals can take a long time to play, but they're definitely worthy of speaking about, which is why I talk about them. Money flow index now is still sitting around that 92, which is, again, overheated bubble pop, 2018. Overheated bubble pop, 2019. Overheated bubble pop, 30% retracement and an alt season. Thank you very much. Goodbye. So, which is again what I've been saying the whole time. We might go into a full-on retracement or the bubble pop and consolidate for 6 months. We might just come down on Bitcoin for 30% and get an alt season. It's the same as I always say. Right. But recognize there is a difference in charts. This is a Bitcoin chart. This is a total 2 chart. We can look at a Dixie chart. Each chart is different, but you need to try and understand that you got to back up and see the bigger picture. And the bigger picture can be as big as you want it to be. It can be as big as either just looking at Bitcoin, or it can be a Bitcoin and an altcoin, or it can be all altcoins market cap and Bitcoin, or you could extend that to Bitcoin and Ethereum and Dixie and Euro and Yen and before you know it, you got the S&P, you got the Nasdaq in there. You're listening to Chairman Powell. The broader opinion you can have on the entire market, which they are all more or less connected to be fair. Nothing really works independently of anything else, especially at this stage. Then the more power to you. But without me running a 24-hour channel talking about every single little tiny boring nuance within this economy, a 15-minute video is pretty much your best bet. And it's always at this time in the morning, before either the school run or in this instance a swimming lesson. I'm a busy guy. It's not all about trading charts. It's all, raising the next generation of chart traders down here. Well, that's enough of that. So, trolls, hopefully you would now recognise the difference between a weekly term time frame and a daily term time frame, and also a Bitcoin and a total 2 chart. So now we can start to look at the charts themselves. They probably wouldn't have made it this far. I think most of the trolls, to be fair, they only really complain about the thumbnail. They digest all information from a thumbnail. Right. So again, just like how Ethereum is trying to break out, and more importantly, the total 2 is looking to break out, see how important it is to get a candle body closure above this level. Wicks, no good. Candle body closure, we continued. Straight up continuation. Do we have any signs of weakness? No. Just signs of strength, unfortunately, for those bears out there. So we got the RSI breakout, which was back down here, effectively, marking this retest, I suppose, wasn't it, on the 10 exponential. We did wick a little further down, but it was a relatively decent breakout of momentum. Price action and money flow index did break on this level and bottomed around this level, which actually did find the wick low. And now we've got the MACD cross above a 0 point, so we are looking for this one to start trending higher. So let's move it up a notch to a 3-day, and let's get ourselves our next level in, which is all about this danger wick. We're talking $42,000 really, give or take, which is also, as we can see now, the 3-day Bollinger Band top, which is cool. So nothing on the itchy cloud. The pump signal was generated all the way back down here at 27,300, and it's got continuation. We do have a bit of bearish divergence on this 3-day money flow index. We do have one drive of it also on the RSI. So that goes into feeding into the overall fear. Get ready, trolls, if you've made it this far, which is that the higher term timeframes do suggest consolidation around the corner on a 3-day and on a weekly. So this doesn't mean that by the end of this video you should be seeing double-digit red figures, Oh my god, it's dumping, he was right. This is a weekly and a 3-day. This could take weeks or even months to find its peak. This is why we go level by level. I've been saying, look, there was a potential top at 38, but the momentum broke, didn't it, last week? And we were pretty confident that we would see attempts. The more times you hit that resistance, the more likely it is to break, which has proven to be the case. Bum, 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 and we've broken. So that's good. And so now you target the next major level of resistance, which again is $42,000 to $43,000. Okay, so when we approach that level, just like you should always interpret any resistance, expect to get rejected on resistance. Doesn't mean it's the absolute top, but expect it to be a resistance. Given the warning signals that we're getting on the weekly and 3-day, it might be the top, but is it actually? I don't know. It's for you to decide where your appetite for risk sits within this market. Again, every resistance should be expected to get rejection unless there's absolutely undeniable momentum brewing. And as we've seen on the 3-day, there is a dwindling of momentum on the 3-day, which is not a big deal. It's only one drive of bearish divergence. It's not 3. It's not too bad. Still probably got further to go, but it's there. So you have to respect what you see. These indicators are here for a reason. I tell you these things for a reason, but it doesn't mean that I don't expect further upside. And again, I still think we do. I think 42, 43, and potentially even 48 can happen, because Captain Noobmaster's got deep pockets. He only buys when it's green. He will only FOMO, and FOMO is good if you want to smash a sell wall there, and that's what breaks a resistance and takes you up to the next level. So we do need people like Captain Noobmaster to keep this thing going, and it's our job to take his money. He's been in this market longer than I have. He's still called Noobmaster because he never learns. He's an emotional trader. That's basically all there really is about this. It's not much different to anything I've said before, outside of the fact that we do look like we're now breaking from Ethereum, and most importantly, the total 2, which is really, really good. Moving into next week, we want to see moving averages crossing above this area of resistance, which is hopefully now flipped to support. It'll be a lot sturdier once that happens. Again, Ethereum is still very early days. It really has only just crept out. So we'll be looking for early next week to see continuation on Ethereum's chart. So it's not a done deal right now, but it definitely looks pretty good. It is technically a new local high, and I don't even know if this counts as a... I suppose it does. This is beyond the previous high in April, so I think it's relatively safe enough to make the judgment that this is going to continue to go up based on what we've seen last night. Although this is a Sunday, I don't know if you never noticed it, but Sundays are not. They are often prone to a sell-off, But given the way that given the way that stocks look at the moment, I don't think they will. To be honest, I'm not so sure that we will see a sell-off this Sunday. I think, if anything, what we're going to see is probably a sideways to maybe a little further upside on today's price action, leading into another bullish week for crypto and stocks, because that is the nature of it. Markets are pricing in the potential dropping of rates, the lowering of rates next year. That's what markets are doing at the moment. There's a lot of evidence, I'd say, to think that the Fed will do that, and you might think, well, why would they do that? The stocks are running high. It's not all about stocks; it's about house prices. I think I spoke about it yesterday, or maybe I was talking to a neighbour about it. I bore everyone to death who was around me. Anyone comes into conversation with me, I bore the pants off them. But it's true. If you think about it, so yeah, stock market's one thing. We like all that, but house prices are another thing altogether. And if you get people who can't afford their mortgages because their fixed rates are, well, they're expiring, and then suddenly they're having to pay 6% or whatever when they were previously on 2%. It's a big deal if you've got a big mortgage, especially with the cost of living, which is still high. It's higher than it was. So that means there's going to have to be some houses getting sold because people can't afford their existing houses, which means that there's going to be like an influx of supply just drop into the market. Loads of houses, loads of people selling because they have to, lowering the prices. It's a housing collapse. You say collapse. I mean, I was talking about this about another mate as well. You might see a house prices drop by a maximum of about 30% and then recover over several years. It's no big deal for those who can afford to keep their houses. Again, you and me, we see 30% drop in the blink of an eye. It doesn't. We're not bothered about a 30% drop. It's no big deal. But for the average person, it is. And for a lot of people, a house is not an investment. It's more like a liability, to be honest with you. And that's the problem. So you've got to lower those rates, because when those fixed mortgages, those fixed rates come round the corner again, and people start selling their houses, this is the start of the domino effect, which brings the housing market down, which is something that no country can really afford to have, and that would be a real problem. So yeah, of course, lowering those rates is absolutely on the cards, and I think that the markets are pricing that in. This has turned into a very long video. If you made it to the end, please let me know. Otherwise, hope you have a nice day. Take it easy.